Marshall arc to the rim. An 11-0 Iowa run. As one of the arena cameramen got hit there after the bucket, and the officials stopped play.
Right here, this is Caitlin Clark all on her own, jumping out to double team. She sensed that she could get the steals, that she could create some havoc, and she did, and got the layup the other way. And let's go.
Gabby Marshall approves.
I drive a very nice car. It's very fast, very shiny. But sadly, it's not built for the famous Aussie lifestyle. And I love the famous Aussie lifestyle. I love the fashion. I love the food. But mainly, I like to drive here. So this is my second car. Designed for my second home, Australia. Bike rack, rod holders, roof racks, thong storage, built-in pie oven, freshwater shower. Oh, hey Barrow. Valtteri is having a little shower too. Budgie Smuggler drying system. BRS, buck reduction system. Mullet aeration technology.
Check this out. That's a bird.
I'm going to be busy racing my first car, so I put this baby on Uber Carshare. You can rent it for free, because I am very rich already. Australia's home of second cars. Valtteri will miss you.
What up, everybody? Matty C. Okay, Matty C Sports. I have not had an episode in a while now. The reason why is dealing with really refocusing and redoing my whole mental psyche pretty much. I did have a concussion a few months ago, or I should say a month or two ago, and that in the mental aspect of it was really messing me up. So I will be back very soon, very soon. I want to thank everybody who's reached out to me to make sure I'm okay, make sure everything's good. I do have a very big and positive announcement now. So me, myself, I'll be running the Boston 10K June 23rd, 2024, which for me is a big thing. I mean, I've torn my meniscus in my knee. I have done 5Ks in the past, but this one means something. I did have news to me about my mother's health, and she's in good spirits and all that good stuff. So I'm very happy for that. But my goal is to not only cross the line in an hour and 6 minutes, which I know is not the standard for a 10K, but just this medal is going to my mom, man. She's done so much for me through my mental health journey, my journey through life, and I can't thank her enough for that. So with that being said, I will be running that. It's in co-partnership with the BAA, over here, Boston Athletic Association, who also does a Boston Marathon coming up this Monday. So with that, I'm saying that I'm very excited for this. Never did I think I was going to have the courage or even think about doing this. Kind of like the podcasting. Never in a million years would I say that I'm going to go into podcasting, but here I am, and I'll be back. I promise you guys. So thank you guys, all the teams who supported me, all the fighters who have supported me, the boxers who have supported me, the MMA guys, everybody in this inner circle, whether you've been on my show once or a million times, I thank you. And my family, my daughter Sadie, and my wife Ashley, my mother, like I said, and the rest of my family. And yeah, it's been a tough road, but this is something that I think will be a very positive thing for myself. So yeah, and my thing I wanted to do is I was going to create a shirt that I was going to wear on race day. I don't know what I'm going to put on the front yet, but on the back, I am looking for people who would like to sponsor me for, gym membership, or, the proper clothing, and, or I should say apparel, or, gym fees, and just stuff for training. It's a lot, and people, you just don't grab the shoes, the Nike your Air Maxes, or you don't grab your Adidas shell toes and just run it. Nah, don't work like that. Or you want to go Larry Bird and play a game of basketball with some Converse all stars and stuff. So yeah, I'm doing that. So I just want to extend a welcome to anybody who would look out to want to do a sponsorship. What I'm looking for is $20 to have your logo on the back, and you'll be shouted out on me through Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Yeah, I look forward to it, and I want to thank everybody who's really helped me through my mental health struggles, my when I had my concussions, the pointers I got from people to recover through it and do all that stuff. So yeah, if you want to reach out to me, my number is 781-812-9387, or if you want to reach me, email mcamron23@yahoo.com, or you can look for me, Matt Cameron, my Facebook, Matty C Sports, Facebook, Instagram at Matty C, Facebook, MATTIE, as you see over here, and my other Instagram page, Matty C23. My Instagram, I think, is mcameron23, but I'm not too sure. I'll have to look that up. But again, I want to thank everybody, and I especially want to thank my producer of my show, Matty C Sports, Keith Hayes, who has been exceptionally helpful through worrying about my health, my mother's health, and everybody in my family. And Citizen One Productions, that's our team and family, man. We're a family. So yeah, so if anybody wants to reach out to me. It's June 23rd, and look for me, and I'll send you all the link to, my tracker throughout wherever in the city of Boston. I look forward to it, and I love all y'all no matter what, and I'll have some updates from everybody soon. Oh, and to all the sponsors who I have already, Iggy, their fight story, Kendrick Ball Jr., great fighter, good person all in general, Worcester's own, Jalen Renaud, aka boxing's favorite boxer, who's pretty much my brother, and my sister, the Nail Boss, Zamata. Thank you as well, all y'all supporting me. Yeah, we'll have some more news soon. And again, if you're looking to sponsor, reach out to me, and I greatly appreciate it. And I will promote the hell out of you if you got a fight, or if you want to promote your business, whatever you need to do. But again, thank you very much, and I love y'all.
Ground control, we are go for launch. T-minus 3, 2, 1. Lift off. Lift off.
I believe we have split the atom of breakfast.
In the early 1960s, the American morning was defined by milk and cereal. And the two undisputed giants of the cereal world were Kellogg's and Post.
Major news from the breakfast world. The Post Cereal Company has reportedly invented a shelf-stable fruit pastry breakfast product.
No.
Yeah.
Boy.
It's Post. They did it.
I'm about to finally crush that big red K that never stops glaring at me. How do you think Post did it?
There's always a surprise inside the box.
I wonder if they use xanthan gum.
Xanthan.
Kellogg's is entering the race to reinvent breakfast with the help of Steve Schwinn, Chef Boyardee, and Jack LaLanne.
They're stacking the deck with ringers.
Hey, you know Isaiah Lamb from Quaker?
You Kellogg's people.
We're about to have some very powerful people very upset.
You have to win. Are you making any progress?
It's not to scale, but...
What are you guys, 5 years old? Little John draws better than that. And I think there's something wrong with him.
Nobody said this was gonna be easy.
We're talking about happy childhoods for millions of American kids. The important thing is the name.
Fruit Magoos! What?
No.
Heat 'em up and eat 'em ups.
No sale.
Oblong nibblers.
Is this a joke?
Whoever gets to the shelves first is gonna win this thing.
Give up the cartoon, man!
How did it get this far?
It's breakfast. Things happen.
Isn't this a cereal company? Why did my husband explode?
We see the look of relief on Chase Elliott's face. The 42-race drought is over. You drove intensely today. You did everything just right. How does it feel?
Oh, man, it couldn't feel any better. First off, thanks to everybody that came out today. You guys are unbelievable. What a Hooters has been a partner of ours for a number of years now, and it's been a dream of mine to pay respect to the late Alan Kawicki and driving this car to a victory and being able to do a Polish victory lap, and just really crazy how things came full circle there in that moment. It was pretty emotional for me. Just he beat Dad back in the day, and here we are sharing his sponsor and having an opportunity to win today. So just man, couldn't be more grateful for this journey and kind of the path that hasn't always been fun, but certainly have enjoyed working with our guys. We've been just working really hard and really well together, and like I said, it hadn't always been fun, but we've enjoyed the fight together.
You mentioned you guys have been fighting together. Today, it was a fight on the racetrack all day long. That race looked like it was crazy to drive. How intense was it on the track with all the slipping and sliding?
Yeah, it was just crazy. This place is just so, so sketchy, and I haven't seen a replay of, of Denny and us. I don't really know. I didn't feel like I did anything super crazy there any more than anybody's ever done to me. Just had to run forward, and I want to look at it, but I didn't feel like I did anything to crash him. I think just the circumstances, but nonetheless, apologies to him if so, but couldn't be more proud of our team. Thanks to our partners at Napa and Chevrolet. Everybody at Hendrick Motorsports had a big week last week. Boss, thank you. Thank you for sticking with me, and just really, really proud of this, and appreciate all the folks back home that have stuck with me and helped us get back on track.
Chase Elliott, your winner in Texas.
Start your
Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Drafting the Circus program brought to you by Sinister One Production. My name is Frank Santorowski. I'll be your host for the next hour. First off, I want to thank our sponsors, Uber Australia, Maddie C Sports, Louise Torres Multimedia. You did see the trailer for the new Jerry Seinfeld film, Unfrosted. You might be wondering why we're playing that trailer, but we will explain that to you here shortly. Also, I want to give a shout out to the We Love Racing Facebook page. So let me tell you about my day, right? You ever have one of them days you get to work and you start doing your stuff with your paperwork, and then the phone starts ringing, and then every phone call is somebody that works for you telling you why they can't be there today, until finally you realize, man, I'm the only guy at work today. Well, that was my day. So you'll notice that Richard, Lee, and Louise are not here. So I had to reach out to some friends of mine. So I want to introduce you to Melvin and Jackson McLaren, who do Bubba's About Broke podcast. And you've heard us mention these guys on the show before. They're a lot of fun. They're very knowledgeable. They've recently had their 100th episode of their podcast. So we're gonna have these guys on tonight. and do a show like that. So, fellas, how we doing tonight?
We're good. I don't know about knowledgeable though.
Yeah.
I was like, who's he talking to?
We're doing great though. Thanks for having us on. This is awesome.
Yeah. So listen, tell us a little bit about your podcast, how long you've been doing it, what kind of stuff you cover. We were talking off the air earlier, you've had some pretty interesting guests on there. It looks like you guys float your podcast around. I've seen you do it from bars and restaurants and patios and different places. So that all seems kind of fun.
Yeah. So we started this podcast December 2022. And we were talking at Talladega. We went down there for the NASCAR weekend with a co-host, Caleb Stratton. He has a camper that he stays in down there, for the whole weekend. And we got to talking, we were like, there's a bunch of podcasts that do NASCAR and, professional levels, but there's really nobody, in our area anyway, doing a podcast about the grassroots racer. There's a lot of people that we know that race all their careers and they never get exposed. They never get interviewed. They never get anything. So, we decided that we were going to do this, and our logo, the Bubba logo, my dad here, that was his drawing, all throughout his life. He drew that character from the time he was in elementary school all the way up, all my life.
You can tell I really listened in school.
Yeah. And he always named that drawing Bubba. So, we got to talking. We're like, we got to have a logo, got to have a name. What's that going to be? We decided to use that character, and we got to kicking some name ideas around. We had 4 or 5 of them, and it kind of came together, like a song title. And we, the cost of racing is expensive. It takes a lot to be able to race, and we know people that have, skipped out on their light bill to go racing. Like they'll do anything they can to go race, and so we kicked the idea of Bubba's Bout Broke podcast. It just seemed fitting for racing, but we highlight the grassroots racer from a front wheel drive all the way up. We don't care if they're running a super late model, an ARC car, a cup car, or a starter, a $500 front wheel drive car, at a local short track. We talk to everybody, treat everybody the same. And that's really resonated with a lot of people. And, we had Jeremy Mayfield on our show. We know him pretty well. And people have told us, hey, you treated us just the same as you treated Ken Schrader, Jeremy Mayfield, those guys. And people are really loving it, and we love doing it. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a blessing, man. I mean, just the people that we've met. I mean, we've been racing. Jackson's 25 years old, May 3rd. And he's been racing since he was 8 years old in mini cups and worked his way up through the pro late model racing, street stocks, CRA street stocks, front wheel drive, all the way up. And we were just so happy to be able to give back to racing because it's done so much for our family. And we go to a track, we'll go straight to the backside of the pits where the crappiest beat up car there is there, and we want to interview that guy. And then when we talk to them, they go, man, they ain't nobody ever asked us to be interviewed.
Yeah.
So we run 15th or 20th every night for years. Nobody's ever going to interview us. Well, they got stories too. They got awesome stories.
Crazy ones. Yeah. Good ones.
And it's like Jackson said, it's just resonated with that level of racers, and they just absolutely love it. And it's just been a blessing. This thing's exploded. We just come back from Michael Waltrip's brewery over in Bristol, Virginia, where we got invited by the Vors Compact Series, CRA Street Stocks. We did a show alongside of Racing America at the Michael Waltrip Brewery. And who would ever
Michael was there.
Michael come in, hung out with us.
It was cool.
We interviewed him. It's just amazing. And then we meeting you guys. We're getting invited to do more things every day. It's just an awesome, fun time, man. So there you go. That's our story.
Yeah.
We're sticking to it.
That's pretty much it.
Sounds like it's rolling on nicely. Yeah, like you keep it up, maybe you won't be about broke for long. So.
Yeah. It's sure, and that's something else we do. We do sponsorships. We have about 12 or 13 sponsors now, but we we try to take that money and then go back into the racing community and sponsor people. You know, we're not doing this for a living. I'm retired and he's working, but we try to give back to racers. You know, sometimes we'll walk into a pits and hear a story of somebody that can't afford to buy tires, or I've actually had people pull up to the pits that couldn't even pay to get in because they throwed a fee, you know,
like an entry fee on top of the race.
Yeah, you know, a 75,
entry.
and they're loading up to leave. Well, hell, we'll go pay it for them. You know, they can't afford it. And I mean, we can't do it for everybody, but we'll do that every now and then. We'll try to give back to those racers to let them get them on in and race, you know. So that's kind of what we're all about. We try to concentrate on the local racer. You know, we're not going to turn down a Cup guy or an Xfinity guy or a truck or ARCA guy because that, you know, most of them came from grassroots racing anyway. So we try to talk to them about where they started at, you know, and how they got to where they're at. For instance, we had Mark Gregory on last night, who works for Chip Ganassi Racing as a spotter. He started at Nashville, you know, Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway and Highland Rim Speedway, local tracks, you know, and and now this guy's been working for Chip Ganassi for what? 15 years?
He's worked for everybody. Yeah. He's done so many things.
His first big start was with Jeremy Mayfield and Cale Yarborough. When Cale Yarborough owned that team, Jeremy Mayfield came over to that team. That's where he got his start as a spotter for them. So this guy is so humble. He lives right here in Sumner County with us in Gallatin, Tennessee. He sat down right here, and you would have thought he was just a local guy from the local track down the road. Just totally awesome, man. So that's kind of what we're about. You know, there's 4 of us. We picked up our friend, met a dirt racer because we wanted to try to do both aspects. You know, we want to do asphalt and dirt. Well, we're not dirt racers, you know, but we met a guy named Jeremy Burr. He's a manager for Jets Pizza in the area. He races dirt cars, and we had him on the show, did an interview with him, and he just did a real good job. And we was recording a couple of shows that night, and I said, man, do you want to stay and help us out? Because we're fixing to interview a dirt guy. We're asphalt guys. Yeah, man, I'll do that. Well, he's been with us for the whole year now.
Over a year.
And he's killing it. Caleb Stratton, I call it a plank holder with the original guys, is me, Jackson, and Caleb Stratton. Caleb is a full-time sergeant with the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. He's a game warden. So he's really busy. He works the lakes and waterways and all that. So he can't be here every week. You know, he's got 2 young kids and they're playing basketball. But me, Jackson, and Caleb was the original 3 that got this started. And then we brought Jeremy in, and Jeremy did a phenomenal job. He actually drives front wheel drive class pure minis over at Clarksville Speedway. He's won 4 races this year, so he knows what he's doing. Jackson started, you know, like I said, he run asphalt, but he was like, man, we need to run some dirt, because if we're going to talk about it, if we're going to talk the talk, we need to walk the walk. And that was really impressive.
I was like, if I can get the chance, I need to do it. Yeah.
As a father, to hear your son say, I don't know nothing about racing, but I think we need to go do this if we're going to talk about it. Well, that's crazy, man. And we met a series. We interviewed the Vintage Outlaws out of Haleyville, Alabama. Sherry Hopper, Wayne Sutherland builds race cars from down there. They came on our show. They loved what we were doing. Out of the blues, about 3 months later, we get a call, hey, we would like Jackson to come run on one of our spare cars down here at Duck River Raceway Park. What? You know, like, was this really happening? You know? So Jackson goes and runs for them. I think he had a top 10 and never been in a dirt car. And these Vintage Outlaws are no joke. They're built 604 motors, rocket chassis, war shocks.
They're nice.
They're the only really thing I think on the car Jackson drives is the roof is like a 1939 coupe, but the rest of it is fabricated, to look like it. So now Jackson's running 15 races for him. So Jackson's running dirt. He's running asphalt. He's
doing it all
around.
Yeah, and I understand you're about to make your ARCA debut in a couple months here.
I am. Yeah, I'm running in the ARCA Menard Series race at Indianapolis Raceway Park. That'll be on July 19th. I'm running for a local team here in Tennessee, Man Motorsports. Mark Noble is the owner of that team out of Watertown, Tennessee, about 45 minutes from our house. So we've teamed up with them for that race, and I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big step up. Yeah. So
yeah, big time.
That's good. Yeah, I'll tune in and see how you do.
Yeah, it's going to be on Fox Sports 1 that Friday night.
Yeah,
we see
about
that's
5 or 5:30.
That's pretty good, man. You didn't even get pushed to Fox Sports 2. You know,
yeah,
so.
yeah.
3 or 4.
Yeah, it's right before the Craftsman Truck Series are also there that weekend at Indianapolis Raceway Park. So as soon as our race is over, they'll be jumping out there, and then of course the Xfinity and Cup is over at the Brickyard.
Right,
so
right.
It's gonna be a huge weekend.
Yeah,
all four. Yeah, all 4 series.
We've already been trying to find rooms up there, and they're already. We had to get an Airbnb up there, because the hotel rooms are $400 a night, man.
Yeah, they're already jacked up.
Crazy.
Yeah, I usually whenever I go to Indy, I usually stay about 30 minutes south.
Yeah,
straight down 65. Usually I get a much better rate, and it's pretty easy drive in Indy because it's straight shot up. So
yeah.
I think
the cost of a ticket for IRP is $35 for a grandstand ticket, and that gets you the truck and Xfinity, which is great. But then the hotels are so high, so that's what hurts.
The hotels is what's killing the race fans from coming to the races.
Makes you want to buy an RV,
Yeah, exactly.
Or
camping's free at IRP.
Or a hotel.
Yeah. I read camping was free at IRP that weekend.
Oh wow, Jeremy Bird, did you hear that?
It's free. It doesn't have hookups, but it's free.
Yeah, we got generators.
Yep.
Yeah, get your generator, get you a big old tent. Yeah.
Yeah,
ready to go. Yeah, exactly. So that's exciting.
Melvin, did you race when you were younger, or did you just kind of pick it up a little more when you had this kid of yours that was really interested?
Well, I'll tell you how I got started. My great uncle Jerry. Well, no, my uncle Jerry. It's his great uncle. He raced dirt cars back in the early 70s, late 80s up in Salina, Tennessee, Del Hollow Lake area. He ran Buffalo Valley, Gainesboro, Glasgow, Cookeville, and I was introduced to that as a young boy, like 4 or 5 years old. My dad used to take me to the dirt track racing, and he was a powerhouse. My uncle was, and he ended up getting out of it, years later, and he's passed away now. He died of cancer. Jackson got to meet him and talk to him, but he never got to see him race. And my dad used to take me to, as I was on up 9, 10 years old, we'd go to the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. At that point in time, the Winston Cup Firecracker 420 was ran down there. So Cup guys were there then, but it was Winston Cup. And that's how I got introduced to it. My dad took me to the races. My dad was a huge fan. I can remember growing up listening to, was it PRN? Performance racing.
Right. Yeah.
Hear it on the radio every Sunday. Dad had magazines that come in the mail, the Grand National Series.
Grand National Scene. Oh yeah. Man, I wish you'd have kept those.
He had stacks of those things.
Those are like,
yeah. And, but that's how I got introduced to it. And, I took Jackson, like I said earlier, I took him to his first race at the Nashville Super Speedway. He was 4 years old, had his little cars that he plays with and all that. Well, me and my dad and Jackson was there, and that was the night that Michael Waltrip won his first Xfinity race or Bush race.
He had won before, but it was
well, they had a big wreck over in turns 3 and 4, and Michael Waltrip ended up winning that race. So that was like 2004. Well, most kids are going to play with their cars between the bleachers. They're not going to have that kind of,
or fall asleep or whatever.
They're not going to watch that many laps. He stood up and never, ever quit watching that race. He watched the entire race. And I can remember looking over at my dad and going, uh-oh, we got a problem. And dude, he fell into racing when we found out about the Miniature Motorsports Racing Association out of Bowling Green, Kentucky at that point in time. In 2008, we bought him a mini cup, took him to Beach Bend Raceway. He started racing. He ended up fourth in points.
What's a mini cup? Is that it's similar to a shifter car? Is that the one where it looks like a cup car, but you climb in through
picture. I'll show you a picture of it.
Climb in through the roof, right?
Yeah.
Basically, it's basically a an asphalt pro late model, but it's just a
third of the size.
Yeah, it's a small. It had all the same.
Picture of it.
It had all the same adjustments as a late model.
Yeah, so I got him on that, and he run in that series. He ended up finished fourth in points at Beach Bend Raceway Park his first year. He got to race at Nashville, Riverview Speedway, Highland Rim Speedway, and that, it learns them. It teaches them how to not spin out. And
the 7.
But that's a mini cup, and that's Jackson in the background there. He was probably 8 or 9 years old, but that's his car. And that car number was after his great uncle Jerry. That was his number he ran in the dirt racing. So we kind of carried that number, and it's an honor, to be able to do that. But
7's a good number, man.
Yeah. So that's how he got his start. And then he progressed up. We bought a pure stock. He ended up running pure stocks. Just set that down. Yeah. Pure stocks at the Veterans Motorplex down here in Greenbrier, Tennessee. He ended up finishing third in points there one year with a win. Moved up to went to Nashville and started running on the quarter mile down there in the pure stocks, and then we ended up changing that car over to the Championship Racing Association, CRA, to a street stock. And we started going and touring. We started going to wherever they had their races. We went to Anderson, Indiana. We went to Nashville, Cordell, Georgia. He actually got to run the CRA Street Stock 50 at the All-American 400 weekend, and Ken Schrader and Kenny Wallace was in the race with Jackson. They were actually in that race. I mean, It was freaking awesome, man.
No, you can't stop Ken Schrader from racing. He's always somewhere.
No.
He was there, that's for sure.
So he moved out of that. We bought a limited late model, ran over at the Veterans Motorplex for a couple of years. And then Wayne Day, I don't know if y'all know that name, but Wayne Day was a NASCAR owner back when David Reagan drove for him, Willie Allen, David Green, Mark Green, but right here in north of Nashville. Jackson got in good with them, and Mr. Wayne put him in a car, a pro late model. Jackson run 4, 5, 6 races at Nashville on the big track. And Wayne put him in the All-American 100, and he run a pro late model there. Went over to the Veterans Motorplex, ran some races over there in that. Came in second to Mark Day, who is an old NASCAR name. Jackson almost beat him in his first race over there. It was crazy. And then we got into the dirt scene, and now we're fixing to run ARCA race. So that's it. That's Jackson's history. He's got a room full of trophies. And it's just amazing where racing's took us.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, my whole racing career is found out I wasn't that good at it. I was better at talking about it than doing it. So yeah, but yeah.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that either.
But again, it's always that cool uncle. My uncle's races Formula V. He's got a Formula V team. Got 5 drivers that drive for him, and I drove for him for a time. And like I said, I enjoyed it, but I just wasn't that good at it. You gotta do what you're good at. So I was better at talking about it, writing about it, working with sponsors, which is all work that needs to be done as well. So
yeah.
Well, I know Jackson also, he jumped in for Carter Motorsports. They called him up one weekend and said, hey, you want to run our pro truck in a race down here at the Veterans Motorplex? Jackson never been in one. He goes down there and sets the pole, wins the race.
It was a good truck.
It was a good truck. Yeah. So that was last year, and Jackson's got a win on the dirt series this year for Burr Racing. at
That's
Clarksville
good.
Speedway. He set the pole that night and won the race. And we're still trying to work it on the Vintage Outlaw Series with Wayne Sutherland. He's got him several top fives. And the last race we was at Tennessee National, and Jackson was running second and shot for the lead and got tangled up with the leader. And everybody spun out. Luckily, nobody got tore up. And Jackson ended up having to go to the rear, of course, but worked his way back up to sixth. And so that was the last race we ran, but he'll be running next weekend or next Friday at Moulton, Alabama Speedway for the Vintage Outlaw. So that's our next race coming up.
All right. Well, good luck in the next race, man. That's awesome. All right. So let's get into our racing topics of the week. So let's just start off with NASCAR, since we've been talking about stock cars and whatnot. And so we were at the Texas Motor Speedway, and Chase Elliott fans can rejoice. Chase hasn't won a race since what was it, 2022 Talladega?
Yeah. We were rejoicing.
Yeah.
So they had to knock the dust off of the bell at the Dawsonville pool room. We're able to ring that thing.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, here's a guy who's been coming close, and the team's been doing well. He's just, he's kind of hit that slump ever since he had to take a couple weeks off with a non-racing related injury. He just hadn't effectively bounced back from that. And we've seen this before and I've talked to drivers who are in the middle of a slump, and they say you start getting the overwhelming feeling is, will I ever win a race again? You know, am I done? Am I truly done? Right. And I don't know. I'm not saying Chase is feeling that way, but as this, the stretch gets longer and longer, I'm sure that this will get that bit of pressure off his back, and we'll see him likely bounce back and pick up a couple more wins the rest of this year. Because if you recall, 2021, he had, or was it 22? 22, he had 6 wins on the season.
Yeah.
And 21, he had several wins in the season, and just coming out of that slump. So all the Chase fans can rejoice. Again, Lawson seemed to have the dominant car of the day, but those
another wheel came off.
pesky lug nuts.
They gotta get rid of that crap.
That's crazy, man.
They need to go back to the good old wheels of racing.
Why is it that they can get 5 nuts on securely, but they can't get 1?
I don't know.
Other forms of racing do it all the time. I don't understand. I don't know. Are they cross threading it? Are they, I'm not trying to put a tire on a race car, but you would think that the 1 would be easier than 5.
Yeah, like what I don't get is every week that happens, they have that, like Larry McReynolds will talk about it, and they'll show like that 3D view of how that nut goes on there. And he said, well, what happens is like it looks like it gets on, and it shows it on like the 3D graph, but then it's like, but it's not quite on there yet. It's like they show that every week. How do they not?
And I hate
it. It almost seems like it's a design flaw, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they just need to thread it a little differently, or thread it a little wider. I don't know.
I hate it for the guys that's got that responsibility to put that wheel on.
Yeah.
Because they're getting penalized, suspended, fired.
Yeah, man, and then your driver's got to sit in the pits for 2 laps, 2-lap penalty for that.
Yeah.
But this is the crazy thing, right? Usually that sort of thing will happen coming out of the pits, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Lawson had run a bunch of laps on that before the tire came off.
Yeah.
Which was, I find that to be a little bizarre.
Yeah.
Because you think he would have felt it vibrating if it wasn't on there. So I don't know, but either way, it's Lawson was able to get back on the lead lap, but he did not have the performance he had earlier, and it was
well, I think when that wheel came off, that underbody drug across the ground, and it screwed him.
Well, yeah, that certainly didn't help it at all. Yeah,
it hurt his performance.
Yeah, the car's designed to run on 4 tires, not 3.
Yeah.
So.
Well, but, I know these new Cup cars. I'm not a fan of them. I am not a fan of them.
Most old timers aren't.
Yeah, I don't like the next gen cars.
I mean, I don't like people crashing, but when I see a crash, I want to see the hood come up and all that stuff like it used to do. There's none of that. It literally looks like the car is not even getting tore up at all.
They're pretty tough.
Yeah. And then they have a flat tire, they can't even drive the car.
Yeah.
You sit there and spin. I don't know.
Or they barely tap the wall and that toe link breaks, and then
yeah, that toe.
I mean, they used to be able to knock the heck out of the wall and keep going. It's like
they used to run a rear suspension that come out of a 1958 pickup truck, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And they ran that part for years. It's all, but four-wheel independent suspension is something that's been in road cars and been in other race cars for years and years and years. It's odd that NASCAR can't get a grip on it,
and the other thing about the next gen, when they came out with this next gen deal, it was supposed to cut costs for the teams. That was their whole thing, was these next gen cars are going to cut the cost for a cup team. But like, I was listening to Door Bumper Clear the other day, and they were talking about the cost of a next gen car. It's like $500,000 for a next gen car. That's what they were saying. Like, it costs to have the car, and they have to keep getting these cars. Like, they're not cutting cost any. These cars are expensive.
Hey, it put me out of buying a cup car.
Yeah. And that was like before the motor they were talking about. It was that kind of money.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, you used to have to build your own. So I guess you're saving.
I love that.
Well, yeah. Who doesn't?
Everybody had their own kind of unique car within the rules still, but they had their own unique deal.
Yeah, the old Cunningham Kelly down here in east of us here, they used to, the cup cars would come to Nashville, they'd build a freaking race car, man, and go run a NASCAR race.
One a year. Yeah.
That's when it was awesome, man.
You can't do that anymore.
No. They'd have local dealerships on the car, Cunningham Kelly Chevrolet.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even see that anymore.
Yeah.
I am an old timer, brother.
Yeah. I'm probably just as old as you.
Well, I'm 54. I ain't gonna lie. I tell everybody on the podcast all the time.
You're younger than me, so.
Well, I feel old.
I feel old every day of the week. Every time my ankles and knees and every lower back, they'll let me know, yeah, you're old, buddy. So, all right. So it ended up, Chase was battling with Chastain and Keselowski there at the end through the several overtimes that we experienced, as NASCAR races are prone to do. And Keselowski, another guy who's been chomping at the bit for a win. And we've been talking about this a couple of weeks. Ford Motor Company yet to make the winner's circle in the Cup. They've not won a race yet. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
it's all. Ford came out with a new car this year. So did Toyota, but Toyota's evidently works better.
Yeah.
Chevrolet's got their tried and true from last year, and they are pretty much they're leading the series in wins. But it doesn't look like Ford is that far off, and some of it comes down to dumb luck, and some of it comes down to the fact that the one Ford team, SHR, is crap.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're going downhill.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally, Penske and RFK are leading the Ford brigade, and SHR is like, who?
It seems like SHR and Roush have swapped.
Yeah. Roush
that's right.
Roush used to be that way, and now they're pretty decent. They're pretty good right now.
Pretty decent. Well, they got the influx of Brad coming in, and between Brad's knowledge, Brad's people, and some of the sponsor money Brad's able to pull in. I think he's breathed new life into that team. Same with Kyle Busch coming into Richard Childress has seemed to breathe a little bit of life into that team, or part of it anyway, because Austin Dillon is still missing in action.
They got a couple top tens this weekend though. They did pretty good.
Yeah. So, but so that's the Cup. So did you get a chance to did it have trucks in Xfinity in Texas?
Oh yeah, I watched that. Man, that Xfinity finish was awesome.
Yeah. All right, so that's the one they were one of the closest finishes ever.
Yeah, I was Ryan Sieg and Sam Mayer. I was pulling for Ryan so hard because he was doing really well. I mean, that one restart, he cleared all those top running guys. It was gone. I was like, dang. Like,
yeah, that was some good stuff right there.
He's gone. But he tried to well, I guess he did put Sam in the wall a little bit and tried to slow him down, but it just wasn't enough. But he said in his victory speech, or not his victory speech, but his post interview, that he was thanking SHR. So I guess they have a pretty good alliance with them. That RSS Racing, but you could tell that. I mean, he was firing on everything he had that day. It was a good one.
Yeah, I saw the finish. I did miss most of the race, but I didn't see the highlights of that finish. Anything that ends like that, that leaves the fan walking away saying, "Wow." You know what I mean?
What's exciting is it was like a restart with like it was either 7 or 8, maybe it was 10 to go, and he got pretty clear, and they were side by side in the back. Second and third were running side by side, so he kind of checked out. But then Sam got clear, and the next 6 laps he ran him down all the way to the finish.
Yeah,
and he caught him like coming off of 4. He's right there, and they were door to door, and it was just a drag race, and it was like 0.0002, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like literally like you couldn't even tell the difference hardly. Yeah.
And that's what makes me a bigger fan of the Xfinity and the trucks.
Those guys get
and
after
the ARCA. I don't know. I just like it better.
The truck race, Kyle Busch, on paper, it looked like it was another Kyle Busch win. Like he won both stages and he won the race, but he didn't win it like he used to win it in the trucks. Those young guys were on him this time.
Yeah, they was.
Corey Heim was all over him, and he had to hold off. I think who was the 19? Christian Eckes. He had to hold him off too, pretty much the whole race. And like he didn't win it like he used to by a straightaway. He had to fight for it, and he even said that. He's like, man, they were all over. I mean, they were putting him 3 wide and everything, trying to hold him back, trying to side draft him, but.
I bet you Kyle was looking back going, what the crap?
He still got it done.
Kyle's like, hey, y'all supposed to let me win, remember?
Yeah.
He still won it, but he didn't win it like he used to. He had to really fight for it.
You can say what you want to about him, the boy can drive.
It was a good race. I liked it.
That's true, yeah. So
yeah.
But that but that's again, a lot of people don't like the fact that some of the Cup guys step down to the lower series, but I think that for those guys in that series,
it helps them
competing against somebody who's running at the highest level, particularly get a guy like Kyle Busch, who's a 2-time Cup champion in there, and God, he's got over 200 race wins across all 3 major series. If you can run with that guy, or even if you can run behind him for a while and just pick up some pointers.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a bad thing for the sport. So,
I mean, if you're in a race with all inexperienced people, they're all doing, the same thing. They don't know what they're doing a lot of times.
Well, I know Jackson even said that.
Yeah.
They like those guys.
A lot of them have said that. Yeah. So if you get to be in a race with somebody like Kyle Busch, then you're going to see something.
Get to learn.
Pick up on something, like you said. And
absolutely. Yeah.
And apply it to what you're doing. Like, okay, that's how he's getting through the corner.
That's like moving. You got to follow Ken Schrader and Kenny Wallace.
Yeah, I got to follow Kenny Wallace for a little bit.
And learn how to drive Nashville Fairground Speedway in that race he ran.
Because they had been there.
Jackson got in behind them and lifted every spot and he picked up a whole bunch. So I imagine them guys are too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, but so we're off of Talladega. Are you guys Talladega fans? Or
I love Talladega. That's my favorite.
All right.
My favorite track.
I kind of figured you were.
And stay at Caleb's camper. Caleb Stratton, our one of our co-hosts with us. He's been going down there for years.
I like short tracks and I like super speedways. I love Daytona and Talladega racing.
Yeah, man.
I love it.
Talladega Boulevard.
That's some of my favorite racing to watch right there.
Might get to see old Kyle Busch as a douchebag down there, man.
Yeah, Jason
Houchins down on the boulevard. He's a friend of ours. You need to check him out, man.
He's hilarious.
Kyle Busch is a douchebag. He's friends with Kyle Busch, obviously, but he puts up this big. He ain't got a shirt on. He's a big old dude like me. He wears a big old hat that says all of that, and people are just flocking to him, taking pictures with him and all that. So we hang out with him whenever we go down there. He actually came to our show at Michael Waltrip's.
He did.
He showed up at 4:30 to be on our show at 6, and it took him that long to get up to us. That's how many fans went nuts over this dude.
Yeah.
So check him out, man.
Oh yeah, always wanted to go to Talladega. That's one of my bucket list tracks I haven't been to.
You can come hang out with us.
We've been there probably 6 or 7.
We did a show down in
times now.
We did a show down in the infield.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
around the campfire.
People were just handing me beers all day long. Jackson goes, "Where did you get all them?" I said, "I don't know."
It's a good Talladega's a good time, man. It is a good time.
It's a family,
and you never know who you'll see down the boulevard at night. I've walked by countless Cup drivers down through there before,
and they'll just stop and talk to you.
I've walked by Burton, Todd Gilliland, David Starr, everybody. I mean, there's all kinds of people just walking around.
Yeah, everybody comes to the boulevard.
Noah Gregson, he's been down there a lot.
We camp probably 100 yards from the boulevard, so it's a pretty good.
It's a good time. Yeah.
All right, if you go down there this fall, well, my daughter's getting married.
We won't be there this fall.
My daughter's getting married in October, so we're going to miss Talladega for the first time.
Yeah, you can't skip that. You can't skip that. But yeah, yeah, you should tell your daughter in the future. Check the racing calendar before you plan these
exactly.
things.
Exactly.
She might whoop me.
Oh yes, that's why I had to miss Carb Date Indy last year because my daughter was graduating high school. I'm like,
hey,
dang it,
can't miss that. But golly, Carb
okay.
Date's a fun time. So, but yep. The daughter's more important. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely. I love her, man.
Yeah,
she's awesome.
Yeah, my daughter's awesome too. Yep. So looking at this year's field, who do you guys like for Talladega? Because we always this portion of the show, we always make some picks for the upcoming weekend.
Yeah, so the Cup race, I mean, it's always a crapshoot at Talladega, right? You know, it's you
always,
never know who's gonna win.
Always.
But you do always see the same players are always still up there at the end. You know, you got Keselowski's a good one for plate racing. He's won Talladega several times. We've been there for a few of his wins there. Blaney's real good at Talladega. He's won 3 or 4 times there. Then of course, you got Chase Elliott. He's pretty good there.
I'm always for the underdog.
Denny Hamlin is always good. Yeah, and the underdog.
I'm always for that guy that started 28.
I like Corey LaJoy. I'm a LaJoy fan.
Yeah.
Corey LaJoy would be, I'd love to see him.
He's going to win one.
Yeah.
He's going to win one. You mark my.
He's going to win one day.
He's on the right track.
I always like watching him. Hocevar. I mean, there's all kinds of good people out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you didn't mention Ricky Stenhouse.
Yeah. Well, I'm counting on him to make the big one happen.
Yeah.
We saw him one year wreck like 7 people in a row. I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah, you feel the same way about Stenhouse that I do. I just it pains me to call him a Daytona 500 winner. So
I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, but man, I sat through 3.5 hours for this.
Yeah, exactly.
All he's got to do when you start giving him crap is do like it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just shows you his ring.
Shows you a ring.
If I had to make one pick, though, somebody that I just want to pull for, I'd pull for Corey.
Yeah, I do too, because I've seen him get up there, and it's like, oh, this is fixing to happen. This is fixing to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then it doesn't. And then he gets wrecked, and you're like, oh, my God, man. Come on.
And he's a nice guy.
Yeah, Jackson's talked to him.
I've met him before. He's
at Nashville.
Cool. Yeah.
And he is a good dude. His daddy's a good dude.
Yeah. We saw Randy at the fairgrounds one day.
Yep.
They were selling their seats.
Mm-hmm.
They had their seats there. He was driving around on a golf cart with a bunch of.
It's always good to see the old school dudes.
Yeah.
The old drivers, man. Them some tough dudes, man.
Yeah, they are.
Oh yeah. All right, so I'm picking Keselowski for Talladega because I've always been a big fan of Brad, and he's got a winless streak longer than Chase's, so he needs to be the next one to go ahead and check off a win.
He's a nice guy too. We've talked to him several times.
He's a heck of a nice
There's
guy.
me with that picture of him actually up there.
Yeah. Yep.
That's old.
We met him the first time, and when he was running the Busch Series.
That was the Hellman's car, Junior.
Yeah, Junior's car at Nashville Super Speedway. And he just sat there and talked.
Well, he was young then. He was just getting started, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's probably 18 or 19.
Probably.
Yeah, he's still one of the more fan-friendly drivers, man. He still does the thing where he'll go out to the campgrounds.
Yeah,
go right ahead.
I'll tell you somebody that I really like now. I mean, I didn't ever not like him, but I really like Joey Logano.
Yeah.
He is a cool dude. Like, I've watched a lot of his interviews and stuff that he's done, like on Kenny Wallace's show and stuff. He just seems like a really cool guy. I like Joey. Like,
coming into the sport, he wasn't, but he's changed a bit. He's mellowed a bit. He's kind of let his guard down, kind of let him be himself and not.
But he just seems like a cool dude. Like he's got it together.
Yeah,
he's really cool.
Yeah, at the same time, it's interesting. You got a lot of people can't stand him, and I'm like, why? A lot of people can't.
He's really.
I'm like, why? Why can't you stand Logano? What's he ever done to you other than win races that your guy didn't?
Yeah.
So
come out of nowhere.
I never didn't pull for him, but like recently, like in the last year, I'm like, man, I actually like Joey. Like he's really cool.
I liked him when he had that conversation with Kenny.
They were talking about the cost of racing on the Kenny conversation, and he was talking about just how it is anymore to get a ride. Like he says, like I drive the 22 car, I get paid to do that. Like,
and I'm a champion.
That's my gig. I do get paid to drive the 22 car. But if I want to go run an Xfinity car or a truck, I've got to pay for it, or I've got to find money.
Yeah, bring a sponsor. Yeah.
Yeah, he said you would think that a team would let a 2-time champion drive their truck to help their program and have that name in their truck, but he said it is not that way. He said because he won that Bristol dirt race last year. He said that's the only time I could find the money to drive. I wanted to run 3 or 4 truck races this year, but I couldn't find the money.
That's a strong statement.
He said, and I'm not going to spend my own money. I could, but I'm not going to. But he said they won't even let me do it. So like, how's a kid that's 18 going to do it? That doesn't have a name.
I mean, Kyle Busch got rid of his truck team for similar reasons.
So like him speaking about that there was a bunch of other stuff in that interview that was good stuff too. But that's what kind of made me a fan of him.
It really lets you know how the economics of the sport really work.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are guys that are paid to drive, but there are more guys that are hustling to bring a sponsor to the team, or
that's what we're like
him right now.
Yeah, for that race.
I've been on the phone for days calling everybody in the Indiana area, any dealerships, any tractor places. We got a quarter panel left for $7,500, and we got a spot under the quarter panel right behind the wheel well for $2,500. I have been calling everybody nonstop. He's been calling everybody. It's a lot. It's a lot. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, you've got to do this if you're going to go run that level.
Mm-hmm.
Unless somebody picks you up, Toyota picks him up and says, hey, we want to sign you, Jackson McLaren, 5-year deal for the Toyota development program.
But even that,
you're going to be hustling sponsorships to go run these races, whether you're an ARCA driver, truck, Xfinity, or Cup guy. So there it is. We're getting the first
or even late model.
Late
models do.
Even late models cost more and more.
Yeah.
All right. So we got our picks in for Talladega. We've got about 9 minutes left. So let's cover the open wheel series. So we'll start talking about the IndyCar series. IndyCar series is going to run at.
Hey, watch this. I'll be like.
Yeah. We should have called Mark. He's actually going to be there this weekend.
Yeah, Mark Gregory, man.
He'll be there this weekend.
Yep. So we'll be.
Yeah.
Y'all don't see me no more. I don't know nothing about them except they go fast.
They do go fast.
Yeah.
We'll let you talk about this.
That's the plan, man. You just sit there and smile and say, yep, Frank, I agree with you. So,
right. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, so we're headed off of Long Beach. Long Beach, one of the longest running street. I think it is the longest running street race in the United States. They've been running there since 1975. Started out as a Formula 5000 race and was a Formula 1 race for a number of years. Switched to the kart series in the 80s, and then, of course, became the IndyCar series after the merger. And that race was almost dead in the water early on. But what saved it miraculously was the 1977 race. And there's a lot of folks that are just too young to remember this, but that's when the Formula 1 race, Mario Andretti was driving for Lotus. This is the year before he won the championship, 77, when he was just starting to do really, really well in that Lotus, and he won the race, and he was the only time an American driver had won the Formula 1 race in America, and he's still the only one after 50 years. So that made headline news from everywhere, from New York Times and Time Magazine to Sports Illustrated, and that really cemented Long Beach as a viable event, and it's been going ever since. And it's one of the biggest street parties down there, right out of Los Angeles. It's a fun time. Live music, celebrities, sports people there. They always have the pro celebrity race. You'll see a bunch of celebrities driving. They used to do, used to call it the Toyota Pro Celebrity Race, right? I think they stopped doing that a couple of years ago. They've got an IMSA race down there. They've got stadium super trucks along with the INDYCAR's big event. And then, so now we got to get to the thing about Jerry Seinfeld, right? So Jerry Seinfeld, who's a big car guy. He's got a huge car collection. I don't know if you ever watched the show Jerry Seinfeld. Driving in Cars with Comedians? Where he gets a car that he thinks matches the personality of whoever his guest is, which is another comic or a comic actor. And then they go over the car. And these are always very, very unique and interesting and very beautiful sporty cars that he gets. And then they just talk about doing comedy, and it's a fun time. But it's obvious Seinfeld is a big car guy, so he's making his debut as a director, and they're going to be featured on the Chip Ganassi car of that Linus
talk to Mark about that.
Linus Lundqvist will be driving the car. And the movie
that's who he spots for.
I know
that guy he just said.
Linus Lundqvist. Yep,
the guy that had on the show Monday night.
Yeah, that's his spotter, Mark Gregory.
There you go. See, Steve, you said you didn't know anything.
I still don't.
So Keith, you got the picture of the car.
He's the one that normally drives the American Legion car, right?
Yes, it's still American Legion is still on the car, along with the Unfrosted. And this movie, I know you guys got a chance to see the trailer before the show, but it is it looks to be absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, that's who Mark's working on.
Now the car there is supposed to, that color is supposed to simulate a unfrosted Pop-Tart, but if you ask me, it looks more like a taco shell. But I'm not the guy that painted the car.
Looks like honey mustard to me.
Mustard.
but again, it's this film has a lot of big stars in it, and it looks to be.
I can't wait, man.
Looks to be hilarious. But anytime you get like a Hollywood tie-in with INDYCAR, it's always a pretty big deal. And, we've seen these before with, Mark Wendt had the Star Wars car. They did the Indiana Jones car and Clone Wars car over the years.
They did some cool stuff.
Jeff Gordon had the Jurassic Park car at one point in time.
Yeah.
So it's always neat when you get Hollywood tied in with racing. Yeah. The Hulk car. Yeah.
Superman. Interstate Batteries car. Yeah.
Remember the Superman car? So Long Beach, that'll be this weekend. It'll be on the USA Network. It'll be fun to watch. I'm gonna pick. I'm picking Colton Herta to win this one. Again, sticking with the theme of guys that have a bit of a long streak since their last win. And you're picking Linus Lundqvist because your buddy spots for him. So there you go.
Mark Gregory, man.
Yeah.
There you go. Right. So I'll make a pick for you.
Hey, we do have an Indy driver lives in Hendersonville, Tennessee.
Yeah, Joseph Newgarden.
Joseph Newgarden lives right down the road.
Indy 500 champion.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Tennessee. So
man, you do know something.
Yeah, see, you do know you know more than you think, right? So
yeah.
We're going to our first Indy race this year, though. We're going to go to Nashville when they come to the Super Speedway.
Yeah, they're coming back down there.
They put on a good show down there. I was down there back when they were there in the early 2000s, 2004, 5, 6, I think.
Yeah, we had tickets.
I was at I was at all those races. It was a good time. I like that. I like that track. I don't know why NASCAR is more intent on kind of renovating the fairgrounds because I think the track there in Lebanon is a perfectly fine track.
It is.
It is a beautiful track.
The only thing that sucks.
Plenty of parking.
The only thing that sucks about it is no infield tunnel on the front side.
That's true.
You got to walk. You got to walk all the way around to between turns 3 and 4 to get to the infield.
Yeah, that's true.
Or if you're smart, catch a golf cart ride.
Yeah. Hey, stop.
or the buses that they run in and out of there, the tractors with the tractors with the trailers.
Yeah.
You can get in and out of there pretty quick with that, though.
Yeah, it's a nice track.
Bad.
It's a beautiful place. For it to have sat as long as it did, it's
I know,
beautiful.
it's not,
they didn't have to do much
shape.
to it.
Yeah, no. Well, the concrete holds up better than asphalt when you leave it alone.
Yeah,
Concrete Carl.
We saw him win a lot of races there.
We did.
Yeah. All right, so just got about 2 minutes left. So really quick, Formula One will be racing in China this coming weekend. First race there in 5 years. We haven't raced in China since the pre-COVID days, and then political reasons. But back in China this weekend, the big news out of Formula One this week is that nobody's suing anybody this week, which is kind of refreshing in Formula One.
I have heard about that. Yeah.
And Fernando Alonso has re-upped and signed a multi-year contract to stay with Aston Martin, and he said it's actually the longest term contract he signed in his career, which means either he has a lot of faith that they're going to make that car into a big contender, or he knows that he doesn't have that many years left and better grab the money while he can. One or the other, or possibly both. So anyway, I do want to thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us. Again, it's Bubba's About Broke podcast. You guys can be found on Facebook Live. You're also on YouTube, correct?
Yeah, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and we do our audio podcast on Apple and Spotify.
Apple and Spotify.
Yeah.
Yep,
now we'll do Facebook Live shows too, but sometimes we don't because we have call-ins and we just do audio on the Apple, and we do them on Monday nights.
Monday night, right? Sounds good. All right, so I want to thank the We Love Racing Facebook page. I want to let you know the Formula One Digital Cafe opening up in Boston, Massachusetts this week. You'll want to check that out. They're expecting big crowds. If you like racing simulation gaming of the Formula One style and you're in that New England area, go check this out. It's going to be a big deal.
Cool. Yeah.
Again, thanks to Maddie C, the Unfrosted movie and Netflix. Thanks to Luis Torres Multimedia. So I always want to say Luis Torres Motorsport, not Multimedia. I get it wrong every week, right? And Richard, Louise, and Lee, you guys suck. I just wanted to let you know that. No, I'm just kidding. Hope to see you again soon. But again, Melvin Jackson, thank you so much for coming on. It's been great. Been a lot of fun talking to you guys.
This is a blast.
Hey, the biggest news coming out of the Arca Menard series is Jackson McLaren's coming to the playground, baby.
Jackson McLaren coming for the win.
Lucas Oil, July 19th. Come see him running the 96 Man Motorsport Toyota.
That's right.
All right. Yeah, that's a great note. That's a great note to end the show on. So thanks again to my producer, Keith Hayes, Sinister One Productions, Facebook Live, YouTube, Spotify. And until next week, thank you so much to you folks that tune in and watch us, and we'll see you again in a week.
Bubbles Bob Broke. Oh, yeah.
Thanks for watching Drafting the Circuits. Make sure to follow Drafting the Circuits on Facebook, Spotify, Twitter, and YouTube. Drafting the Circuits is a Sinister One production.